The shovel bit into the dry earth, sending a plume of dust into the late afternoon sun. Day in, day out, he toiled in this rented field, a humble farmer living a simple life, a life of predictable rhythms and modest expectations. His hands were calloused, his brow perpetually furrowed from the sun and the silent burden of earning his daily bread. Today, however, felt different. As the blades sank deeper than usual, it didn't meet the familiar resistance of soil or rock. Instead, there was a dull thud followed by a metallic scrape. Curiosity piqued, he dug around the obstruction, clearing away the packed dirt with quick, deliberate movements. What emerged, slowly, was not a forgotten tool or a buried stone, but the corner of a weathered wooden chest bound with tarnished iron bands. His heart began to pound, a frantic drum against his ribs. He knelt, scraping away the remaining earth with his bare hands, the dry soil clinging to his sweaty fingers. When the chest was fully exposed, he saw it was remarkably preserved, though ancient. With trembling hands, he forced open the rusted latch. What lay within stunned him into breathless silence. Not coins, not jewelry, but a dazzling array of precious gems and intricately crafted gold artifacts, their brilliance muted by centuries of darkness, yet still irradiating an unmistakable, almost unearthly glow. This was not merely a fortune, it was a king's ransom, a treasure beyond the wildest dreams of any ordinary man. It was enough to change not just his life, but generations of his family. His mind raced, a whirlwind of disbelief, elation, and a sudden sharp clarity. This treasure was hidden in this field? A field he merely rented. It wasn't his to simply claim. To truly possess the treasure, he needed to possess the field itself. And to acquire this field, he knew, would demand everything he had. Every possession, every penny saved, every scrap of security he had painstakingly built over a lifetime. He carefully reburied the chest, covering it with dirt until no trace remained, his hands working on instinct while his mind wrestled with the magnitude of what he had found. The thought of it, lying just beneath the surface, filled him with an almost unbearable tension, but also an incredible quiet joy. The world outside the field, with its daily concerns and struggles, suddenly seemed distant, almost irrelevant. He had glimpsed something of infinite worth. The days that followed were a blur of frenetic activity. He didn't speak of his discovery, not to his closest friends, not to his family. How could he? Who would believe him? More importantly, who would understand the profound value he now perceived? He began to sell his meager possessions, his small plot of land, his farming tools, even his simple cottage. He divested himself of everything that anchored him to his previous life. Others surely whispered, pointing. Has he gone mad, some might have wondered? Lost his mind? A man giving up everything for a mere plot of rented land seemed utterly foolish, illogical. But they didn't know what lay beneath the surface. They couldn't see the treasure. This quiet yet profound act of radical sacrifice is at the heart of one of Jesus's most striking parables, found in Matthew 13:44. Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid, and for joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field." Consider the profound joy mentioned in the parable. It wasn't a reluctant sacrifice, a grudging exchange. It was an act born out of an overwhelming, uncontainable joy. The man didn't see what he was losing. He saw only what he was gaining. The value of the treasure so utterly dwarfed the cost of acquiring it that the sacrifice became a joyful, willing transaction. And what is this treasure? Jesus reveals it to be the kingdom of heaven. This isn't just a place we go when we die. It's God's sovereign reign, His active presence and transformative power at work in the world and within us, right here, right now. It's knowing God, experiencing His love, living under His authority, participating in His divine purposes, and finding our true home and identity in Him. This parable urges us to ponder, do we truly recognize the incomparable value of God's kingdom? Do we see it as a hidden treasure, something so precious that it makes everything else pale in comparison? In our busy lives, full of pursuits and aspirations, what do we truly value above all else? Is it comfort, security, approval, success, material wealth, or perhaps even our own personal ambitions? The man in the parable understood that to possess the treasure, he had to make a radical shift in his priorities. He willingly let go of everything that defined his earthly existence to grasp something of eternal significance. This doesn't necessarily mean we must sell all our literal possessions, but it beckons us to examine our hearts. What are the things we cling to so tightly that might prevent us from fully embracing God's kingdom? What might we need to reevaluate, reprioritize, or even release to make room for God to be truly supreme in our lives? The joy he experienced after finding the treasure fueled his decision to sell everything. It was the discovery itself that transformed his perspective and made the immense sacrifice seem trivial. In the same way, as we discover the beauty, truth, and love found in God's kingdom, our desire for it grows, and our willingness to reorder our lives around it becomes a natural, even joyful response. It's a pursuit not of loss, but of ultimate gain. This parable is an invitation to seek, to truly see, and to joyfully surrender to the incomparable value of God's kingdom. It's a reminder that the greatest treasure, the most profound find, isn't found in what we accumulate, but in whom we know, and the kingdom we prioritize. So, what does this hidden treasure, God's kingdom, mean to you? How might you, in your own life, seek to prioritize this priceless find above all else? We invite you to reflect on these questions. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this message resonated with you, consider subscribing or following for more reflections on the profound truths found in Scripture. May you discover the boundless joy of seeking God's kingdom.